All right, this lesson objective is I can subtract mixed numbers. And 2 lessons ago, we subtracted fractions from mixed numbers. And this is going to be very similar. Again, the only difference is here we have 2 mixed numbers instead of 1. So we're going to follow the same steps we did before. You're going to have to borrow from your whole number, right? If your second fraction is larger than your first fraction, right? We cannot take away a bigger number from a smaller number. So watch carefully. And also I'm reminding you at the beginning of this video, when the video pauses and it's time to answer a question in the video, if you aren't sure how to answer the question, please click the rewatch button and rewatch the explanation again. You can click that rewatch button as many times as you want and watch it over and over again till you feel pretty confident to answer the questions. And then at the end of the video, of course, you can rewatch the whole video again before you do your independent practice. Okay, so here we go. Just like adding fractions, just like adding mixed numbers, you want to deal with the whole numbers first. So I'd have 4 minus 1 is 3. All right. Then you want to subtract the fraction parts. But notice I'm taking away 7 over 11 from 4 over 11. I can't do that. Okay. As soon as you realize that, you're going to have to borrow from your bigger whole number. And that is why in these problems, they have this whole box down below. This box at the bottom is the same problem as this. They are not different problems. It is there for you to use so you can borrow from your first whole number. All right. So if you notice when you're going to subtract the fractions that this second fraction is larger than the first one, you're going to have to borrow. So again, you're going to use the boxes below. So what I would do is, you're going to have to take 1 from the 4, right? You're borrowing 1 whole. So that 4 becomes what number? That's right, the 4 becomes a 3. And when you borrow the 1 whole, that 1 is going to be borrowed in fraction form. And so automatically what you can do, say down here, is here's your borrowed 1 whole. You know the denominator is 11 because that's the denominator you're working with up here. And to make a whole number, remember the denominator and numerator have to be the same. So this number is going to be what? Yes, it has to be the same. It's 11. All right. So now that you borrowed the 1 from the 4, and that 4 became a 3, here's the number you borrowed. Oop, I just erased it. Here's the number you borrowed. So what you do with this fraction is you add it to your original fraction from the mixed number, and you write it down here. So 11 elevenths plus 4 elevenths is 15 elevenths. All right. If you didn't get the part I just explained, go back, rewind the video a little bit and watch this again. All right. So now same steps as when adding mixed numbers. You deal with the whole numbers first. So now you do 3 minus 1 is 2. And now I can subtract my fractions because I can take 7 over 11 from 15 over 11. And I get 8 over 11. All right. So there's your answer. And so the original 3 I had up here, all right, you can get rid of that. Oops, sorry, that's correct. Sorry. You can get rid of that now because again, these two boxes are the same exact problem. The bottom box is to help you work the problem out and do your work, all right? So once you get your answer, you can just recopy it right up here, just like that, okay? If this is confusing at all, rewatch it. If not, I'm gonna have you try one of these problems right now. So here's what I want you to try. All right, so let's do 5 3/8 minus 2 7/8. Okay, so you know you're going to get a mixed number probably as an answer. And remember what to do. Go back, look at this example. Because note, I'm telling you right now, notice this fraction is bigger than this one. So you're going to have to borrow from your larger whole number. So go ahead and do the first part of this, right? So subtract the 2 from the 5. I'm going to get this problem started for you, actually. And now you're supposed to subtract 7/8 from 3/8. See if you can look back at this example or rewatch the video and see if you can solve this problem, 5 3/8 minus 2 7/8. Go ahead and try it. All right, so let's see if you got it. So again, we start with all whole numbers. 5 minus 2 is 3. Then I'm going to try and subtract. I can't subtract 7/8 from 3/8, right? So what you can do is you can erase this now, right? You can leave the 3 over here if you want, or you can even get rid of that if you want to, because you know you're going to have to borrow. So you're going to borrow 1 from the 5, which means your 5 turns into, that's right, turns into 4. How do I rewrite that 1 whole as a fraction in this problem? Correct. I'm going to rewrite it as 8/8 because I'm dealing with the denominator of 8. So what do I do next? Now that I have 8/8, what do I do with my 8/8? Yep, I add it to my 3/8. So now I get 11/8. Okay? So really, what my problem is now is it's 4 11/8, because 4 11/8 is actually the same as 5 3/8. So it's 4 11/8 minus, that's an 11, 2 7/8. So yes, you actually do want, you want to make sure your fraction in the first mixed number is larger than your fraction in the second mixed number. Now I can do my subtraction. 4 minus 2 is 2. 11/8 minus 7/8 is 4/8. So the answer is 2 4/8. So you could even write that as 2 1/2, and you'd be correct. All right. Again, I reminded you at the beginning of the video, but if you need to rewatch this, do it as many times as you need to before you do the independent practice. And if you have questions, make sure you send